here we have a 2018 Volkswagen Golf R, and today I'm going to take it for a drive and I'm going to show you some of its interior and exterior features. Starting at the front here, we have some very nice LED headlights and taillights. These were refreshed on the Volkswagen Golf R just a couple of years ago. This is still the Mark 7 Golf, but they call this the Mark 7.5. So it's got full LED lights here and a very interesting little chrome piece inside here. It looks almost like a comb. That's pretty cool. As well, we've got some hexagon mesh plastic that looks really cool that's inside the headlight here. I think this is a really slick look and a great update on the Volkswagen Mark 7 Golf. So this Golf R, obviously, one of the few distinguishing characteristics from this and a regular Golf, the R badging. Also, in the United States, all Volkswagen Golf Rs come equipped with the advanced driver assistance package. So actually housed inside this Volkswagen logo is the radar sensors for the radar cruise control feature. Now this car is not running on the factory wheels. These are an NK wheel, actually a 17-inch. But from the factory, the Golf R comes this year with a 19-inch wheel. Also different between the Golf R and the regular Golf and the GTI is these R Performance branded brakes. These are a little bit larger than what you'll find on the GTI. Helps get you out of trouble if you're going too fast. Coming around to the rear of the Golf R, another feature that differentiates it from the GTI. We got quad outlet exhaust, and just the only badge on the back here is this little R. Pretty neat. Also, let's go ahead and take a look inside the rear cargo area. As with all Golfs, the logo doubles as the trunk handle. Inside here, standard Golf stuff. It's a pretty decent sized cargo area. I think that this helps make it one of the most practical cars that's still a lot of fun to drive. Let's go ahead and talk about the exterior build quality and take a look at the panel gaps on this Golf R. I gotta say they're really good. I know on this channel I talk a lot about the panel gaps, but to me what that means is the manufacturer is really taking the time to make sure the whole car is put together well. It's something that happens at the end of the build process. Sometimes they'll realign all of the panels around the car to make sure all the gaps are right, and if the car has bad gaps, that's generally a sign that the automaker is trying to cut corners, and who knows where they could be cutting corners elsewhere. Yeah, so along the side here, got excellent gaps between all front and rear door of these three gaps. So it's really looking good. Very tight around the rear headlight and across the top of the trunk. Even spacing on both sides of the tailgate as you come around, looking great. Then coming down the side, other side, I mean, it's the same story. Volkswagen has done an excellent job with the panel gaps on this car. Everything is sitting flush where it should be. Everything is really tight and even. Like, if it's okay if the gap is 4 millimeters, 6 millimeters, whatever it is, but as long as it's consistent, that's what we're looking for. Another note, this car actually is one of very few Volkswagens that are actually made in Germany and imported to the US. Most Volkswagens we get here in the US are actually made in Mexico. So the Golf R is special in that respect, and I imagine that has some effect on the build quality. So let's go ahead and take a look under the hood of the Golf R. Under here we have the VW Group's 2-liter turbo motor. This is the EA888. This is the third generation of this motor. In this application, this is actually its highest output. This is for the Volkswagen Golf R. It makes 292 horsepower and 285 pound-feet of torque here in the US. Actually in Europe it got a 10 horsepower bump this year. We didn't get it, unfortunately. But they've got a nice touch here, an R badge on the engine cover, as well as there's some more Audi parts in this engine than you might expect. Look at this right here on the intake manifold. There's a sensor going to the main wiring harness, and here we have a little Audi logo on there. That's pretty cool. So the upgrades they've made to this motor from the GTI and from the other Audis that use it are larger, namely larger turbocharger, and this has a different cylinder head design that's a little more efficient. So this thing is really good, makes really good power, and is a really good foundation if you want to be making some more power down the road. And now let's go ahead, step into the interior, and I'll go ahead and start it up for you. Now Volkswagen has done a really excellent job with this interior. When you're paying this much for a Golf, you should hope it's a little bit nicer, and it absolutely is. The Volkswagen Golf R has some special seats with a nice R logo on the top. There's perforated black leather all up and down, and we get some nice white piping up and down the sides of the seats. These seats are very supportive, good bolsters, but it's still very comfortable. And even though they have only the basic adjustments, I think that these are a really comfortable seat, and they did a great job. The quality of leather is good, feels really soft. Coming around over here, they've mounted the mirror controls up on the door, which is a little different. This control reminds me a lot of the one that you find in the Audi A3 and A4, but again, it's a little bit different. Power window controls on the side are also really nice. So this car has the Volkswagen Virtual Cockpit, which is very similar to the Audi Virtual Cockpit. They've just taken out a few of the features just to make sure that they aren't encroaching on Audi territory with this display, but it's the same screen. You've got fully digital gauges. And then in the center here, you can customize what's going on. Because we're in the R, look at this. We've got a lap timer. That's pretty cool. Driving information. We can change all of this. Now, in my opinion, the thing that is lacking here, what the Audis get, when you go to the navigation area, you get a really cool map that fills up this whole screen. But unfortunately, for Volkswagen, you're going to have to stick with your navigation on the screen on the side. All of this can be controlled with buttons that are on the steering wheel. Now over here is the main display area. We have definitely doesn't look like an Audi piece. This is Volkswagen stuff. So this navigation is a little bit different, and this car as well has Apple CarPlay. So if you plug in your iPhone, you can go ahead and use whatever map software you like on here. I mean, you've all seen Apple CarPlay before. Another cool feature, it's aware of when your hand comes in. So look at this. I come in, we have menu options. This is prevalent throughout the entire infotainment system. That's pretty cool. We've got some nice climate control knobs. This is pretty standard stuff. Of course, the shifter, and here's the drive select mode button. So if we push that, you'll see up on actually the car's not running right now, but when you push this, you can change between the different driving modes, which are eco, comfort, normal, and race, and individual. Then coming down here, we got a nice cup holder area. That's pretty cool. And then back here in the center armrest, we got just a little bit of storage. So in the glove box here, it's pretty decent size for a car this small. And actually we also have, in here is where the CD player is. You can put in a disc for the navigation in here as well. SD cards for memory, and owner's manual in a nice leather pouch. This one just has the Volkswagen logo on it. Still nice, but pretty. For a car this small, this is a decently sized glove box. We also have some nice sun visors with a mirror and a nice light up here. Also, of course, wouldn't be wouldn't be good unless it had full coverage. This is a feature. This feature is getting more and more common, though. This is nice. Also, up here we have controls for the dome lights, but also check this out. The little sunglasses compartment is actually large enough that you could put something in here. On most cars, this compartment is so small, I couldn't imagine really getting anything in here, but this is nice. It's a little bit larger. Stepping into the rear of the Golf R, left my seat in the same position. I'm 6'1". I got room here. Overall, this is a pretty nice sized back seat, especially considering the size of this car, especially in the headroom. We've got plenty of headroom. Also, we have still some very nice, comfortable seats. We still get the piping back here, as well as the perforation in the leather. This is nice. In the center armrest here, we have a couple of cup holders. I really like this idea. You have these cup holder dividers that you can move to all the different positions. While it might seem like you might lose them, I think this is a good idea because it allows them to accommodate all different size of cups. Also, this car does have a pass-through, so you can get all the way into the back here, like so, if you want to bring some skis in your Golf R. Let's go ahead and talk about quality. Pretty solid. I'm going to start with my biggest complaint about this interior, which is right here. We have this textured plastic trim that runs all the way throughout the interior. Really, I am not a fan of this stuff. I think they could have really classed up this car by using something else. Also, these controls feel a little bit plasticky over here, but nothing too bad. Coming down here, the window controls are pretty good. They feel really nice. These are good. Coming around to the steering wheel, nice leather wrap steering wheel. All the buttons here feel really good. I don't know if I'm digging this weird hexagonal textured pattern that's going on here, but that is what it is. Whatever. We have piano black trim all throughout this here, and as you can see, it's very easy to get fingerprints on. I'm not always a huge fan of this stuff. It'd be really cool if they did the Golf R with a carbon fiber trim. These knobs on here, also a major weak point. These feel really cheap. They have a nice rubberized feel to them, but they don't feel very solid. These climate control buttons are pretty good, as are these are also for the climate control. These are pretty good. Coming down to the shifter, they've got a very interesting pattern around here. So the knob is leather wrapped, but look at this. It almost looks like carbon fiber. They've got some little weave action going on there. I think this is really cool. Also, this engine start stop button, this is probably one of the nicer buttons in the car. Pretty good. As well as I like this wider paddle style button for the parking brake. Some other cars have a little bit of a skinnier one, but this one has a wider one. It's nice, and it's aluminum on the end where you grab it. Driving the Golf R right now, and oh my goodness, is this thing a lot of fun. It's just incredibly responsive, very tight steering. I've got it in race mode right now. Interesting that you go straight from normal to race on this thing, but boy, it sure tightens up the suspension as well as the steering, and this thing is just an absolute blast through the corners. Oh my goodness. It's definitely still a little bit of body roll, even though we have it in the sport suspension here, but it's, oh my goodness, this thing is great. I just really like the steering feel, and it pulls pretty good too. Oh my goodness. This thing is just so much fun. I think if you're looking for a hot hatch, well, now that the Focus RS is gone and you need something that's all-wheel drive, this is your option. I think this is a lot of fun. I really like the throttle response in this car, even though it has a bigger turbo than than the GTI and the other Volkswagen Group products that use this EA 888 motor. This thing is really linear on power delivery, and you get a nice turbo sound there. Also, the shifter feels really nice. It's notchy. I think it's a little bit hard to get into gear sometimes. It's a little more effort than you want on a daily driver, but it provides an excellent sporty experience with a pretty short throw, which is nice. Also, the clutch effort is I would say it's medium. It's not super light, but it's definitely, I mean, this car doesn't have all that much power, so it doesn't need super stiff clutch. So it works well. This is a great package. You know, you drop it down a few gears, just switch it back into comfort mode, and this thing tames up. It's really quite a comfortable car to drive. I think that overall this car is just such a great balance of daily drivability and fun on a back road. I don't think it gets, I mean, there's obviously the Honda Civic Type R and the Honda Civic Type R, WRX, STI, of course, but for me personally, this is just got a little bit more of a sophisticated demeanor to it, and it works a little bit better for the daily driving. So I think that this is my choice, my hot hatch choice.